timber companies, McMillan Bloedel, Western Forest Products, Doman, West Fraser, these companies are moving as fast as they can to clear cut every last stick of magnificent temperate rainforest before the public wakes up and before the native people wake up. What is happening now, even before native land claims are being negotiated over most of the coast, the timber companies have gotten the green light from the Ministry of Forests to go in and quietly make deals with the native villages so that you can continue clear cutting everything that is left. And that's exactly what they are doing, again, behind our backs, and in fact behind the backs of the people who live in these villages, except for some of the elected band council members. For example, in the village of Bella Bella on the Central Coast, where we do a lot of our work in that region, because it's probably the locale of the last and greatest temperate rainforest, intact temperate rainforest that we have on the entire coast. Western Forest Products has put an office right in the band council chambers. They have been throwing money around the village like drunken sailors. They've been making promises. They've been giving a few crumbs, and we believe with taxpayers' money, they are treating some of the villagers, entertaining them. They're building graveyards. They're taking them fishing. They're promising to buy all of their groceries in the village store, which is run by the band council. And what they're doing is offering a few temporary jobs to a few people in the village while they go ahead and get the timber licenses to finish clear cutting every last stand of magnificent rainforest in that region. And we will be left with nothing. Our earth will be left and plundered by some of the worst ravaging clear cutting imaginable, and the natives will inherit a bunch of stumps. Over the years, over the last 6 or 7 years primarily, we put together footage showing what is happening to our landscape, how these clear cuts are extending almost everywhere on the coast as fast as possible, while the government and industry deny it, say that they've changed, say that they don't do that anymore, say that they now have they're leaders in the world in biodiversity protection and leaders in the world in logging practices. And the latest one, of course, the Premier announced last spring that British Columbia has now assumed the leadership in grizzly bear conservation. While all of this public relations and propaganda and absolute rubbish is now going out all over the world in the form of public relations statements, brochures, glossies, speeches, junkets to Europe and the United States, assuring the public and their corporations abroad that everything is fine here. We're out filming the damage that is still going on at an accelerated rate and in the most appalling fashion, and it is the bleeding earth is right in front of your eyes. We have footage of Clackwood Sound over the last 5 years as the clear cutting extends, mostly International Forest Products, Interfor, and some McMillan Bloedel footage, where the clear cutting in the north end of Clackwood Sound, in an area called the Escalante, where we have this aerial footage where it shows whole mountainsides right near the sea, right to the tops of the mountains and down in the valleys behind, completely gutted. An entire river valley. The river is just a bleeding little, almost like a channeled sewer pipe now. Once a magnificent fish-bearing stream, just completely stripped with huge log jams. And this goes on for miles and miles. We have helicopter footage going over this. Going up the north end of Vancouver Island, south of Quatsino Sound, north of the Brooks Peninsula. Another area where, again, out of sight, very few people know about it, so it's easy to brag about our wonderful logging practices, while they continue to annihilate, again, whole coastal ranges of mountains, an area around Red Stripe Mountain, right on the sea, clear cut from the sea right up again to these steep mountains, right down the back sides, where the earth is bleeding, huge gullies and and where the earth is just ripped apart. It looks like someplace in Madagascar or Haiti. You can't believe how bad it is. And this is going on now, during the 90s. And what we would show is the Federal Minister of Forests, Frank Oberle, in 1991, proclaiming on television and to the world that we don't do this anymore. We might have been guilty in the past of some experimentally poor logging practices, but that is no longer the case. And there we have the footage a year or two later showing the most obscene clear cutting you can imagine.